So, ma'am, yes, ma'am, let me know when to go live.
Give us another few minutes and then we will go live. I think Sushma has dropped out. Can you just check with her?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Hi, Himanshu. Himanshu, can you hear me?
I tried reaching out. Sushma isn't answering her call. I've dropped her a text.
Sure.
Yeah, I think she'll join in a bit.
All right. I think we shall start. So, good evening, everybody. My name is Richa Bansal. I am founder of Sarathi, and I'm so happy to have you guys here join in this evening. मैं हिंदी में भी बात करूंगी और इंग्लिश में भी बिकॉज इससे पहले भी हमें पता चला है कि आप लोगों को दोनों ही लैंग्वेजेस में is interested. So we will continue talking in both the languages. Today, I have with me recruitment team of Sarathi, and I would like to introduce Neha here. Neha, would you like to unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the team here, please? Neha, you are still on mute. Can you unmute? Neha? I think she can't. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll connect with her.
So Neha, can you please introduce yourself? I think Neha is not able to hear us. Sadhu, will you please check on it?
Yes, ma'am, checking.
Okay, so while Neha is connecting with us, we can see more and more people join us. Very quickly, we'll give you give you a quick introduction to what we are trying to do today. A lot of you have already visited a lot of our workshops in the past. हमारा intention ये रहा है that how we can help you become job ready. Job ready means multiple things. It can mean how well prepared you are for that job. But the other way of looking at it is how well prepared are you to even enter the corporate ecosystem, right? And that is exactly what we are going to be talking today. So I think before I begin this entire conversation, मैं आप सबसे जानना चाहती हूँ how many of you, and please raise your hands, show by your hands, how many of you are currently working? Is anybody working currently? Charu is working. Thank you so much, Charu. Is there anybody else working? Is there anybody else who is working? Okay. I see one more hand. Kunjar. Okay. So two people in this entire place right now, they are working. Now tell me, how many others who are a part of this group have ever applied for a job? How many of you have applied for a job? Akash has applied for a job. Anyone else? Who has applied for a job? We are all there. Keshav has applied for a job. Akash applied. Okay, you have applied for a job. Okay. Sumit has applied for a job. Okay. Prashant has never applied for a job, which is perfectly fine. Who else? Open to work. Harshal says he has placed open to work button on his LinkedIn profile. Okay. Okay, great. So out of this entire group of about 34, 35 people, Mansi, of course, you've applied for a job. Now tell me something. What is the first thing you guys do when you apply for a job? Any thoughts? Raise your hand and I will ask you to share your what you feel about it. Sumit, can you please unmute yourself and talk about it? When you apply for a job, what is the first thing you look at? What is the first thing you do?
Hi, Sumit this side. Hi,
Yes.
everyone. Yeah, I look for the skills required for the jobs and what are the requirements of the company.
Yeah.
As and I go for the which skill appropriate to my profile.
Sure.
I look for that and apply for the job.
And Sumit, help me understand, what is the first step you take after you have understood, after you've realized this is the job that you want, because it is perfectly suited to the kind of skills you can perhaps bring to the table? What is the first thing you do?
Yeah, I matches with my profile, whether it is relevant to me or not. If my skills are not as per the job description, I leave that opportunity.
You leave that opportunity.
Yeah.
And once you realize that the job is as per your profile, then you apply for the job?
Yeah, if my skill set matches with the job description and the requirement of the company, then I go for it.
Then you go for it. So when you apply for the job, what is the first thing that you have to do?
What is the first thing I have to do? Yeah, I go on a company site at the career section and fill required details. That's it, and apply for the job.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Charu, what do you do when you have identified that this is the job that you want to apply for? What is the first thing you do?
I update my current resume as per the given job description.
Very good. You update your resume as per the current job description. Thank you so much for sharing that. Mansi, what do you do?
Then firstly, I see that it is work from home or not. Then I will apply it.
Very good. So you look at what is suitable to your profile and then you apply for the job. And we heard Charu say that she also will update her resume accordingly. Exactly. Now, how many of us in this room right now feel that resume is important? Suchit.
Obviously, it's important because it shows what we are. It's the first impression.
It is the first impression. You are so right. Who was this? I'm so sorry. I can't see your name here.
Lakshmi.
Lakshmi, you're so absolutely right, Lakshmi, because it is the first impression that we make. Okay, Suchit, do you have a point of view here?
Hello, ma'am. No, same point even I thought.
Okay, so it is the first impression. So that brings me to introducing our colleagues here who are mostly going to be driving this conversation today. Very quickly, for people who joined late, I will reintroduce myself. My name is Richa Bansal and I am founder of Sarathi. I'm sure a lot of you already know Sarathi, especially the ones who have been joining our workshops every month or fortnight. Today, my purpose of being here is to be able to support my colleagues Neha and Sushma in running this very, very important workshop, which is around resume. But before we get started with the next set of very important questions, I would like Neha first to introduce herself, and then we will move to Sushma. Neha, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, ma'am. First of all, thank you so much, all of you, for joining in. Hello, this is Neha. I'm from Gurgaon, and I am working with Sarathi since 5 years now, and now I'm working as a recruitment manager. If I talk about my professional journey or a little bit about myself, so I am a late stage visually impaired person. I did my diploma into elementary education. I did my graduation from Delhi University. I joined Sarathi in 2018 as a telecaller, where I worked on various different kinds of processes into sales and service. And then I handle the team. I lead the team for one of the Coding Ninjas process as a team leader. And since last 3 years, I'm handling recruitments at Sarathi. And I'm looking forward for this workshop today with all of you.
Thank you, Neha. Sushma, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, this is Sushma. I have been working with Sarathi for past 6 months now, and I come from a very different background. I did my master's in social work from Delhi University, and then I was working with children on street with various roles. I was into documentation, I was into communication, I was into counseling, I was into storytelling, and those were my roles. And then gradually I was also into freelance work, where I was into, again, communication writing, basically blogs, transcriptions, translations, language related work. And then finally Sarathi, where I'm working with persons with disabilities, because I'm also partially vision impaired. And therefore, we are trying to drive recruitment and inclusion for everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sushma, for sharing this with everybody. So now I think, so while Neha and Sushma and I, we were discussing about how should we drive this conversation around resume building, I think one of the most important questions that actually popped up was that why do we feel resume is important? Is it important at all? We did hear Charu say that resume is the first impression. How many others in this room feel otherwise or have a incremental view towards it? Any thoughts here?
मैम हमें रिज्यूम अच्छे से बनाना चाहिए कि हमें जॉब भी अच्छे से मिले.
बिल्कुल सही बोला आपने मानसी, बट रिज्यूमे क्यों इम्पोर्टेंट है? रिज्यूमे क्यों हम बोलते हैं पहला अच्छा इंप्रेशन होना चाहिए?
जॉब के लिए, जैसे कि जॉब वाले को आगे को जो सर है हमारे सीनियर है उनको अच्छा लगना चाहिए.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much, Mansi. Anybody else?
Yes, Muskan this side.
Yes, Muskan.
So basically it summarizes about us. So it speaks about us, what our hobbies, about our past experience, academic, in short.
Absolutely right. It basically summarizes who we are. What else? Why do we say it is the first impression? Yes, anybody else?
It shows our personality also, and
Very.
What type of person you are,
Yeah.
and our educations, and how many degrees and all are there, and obviously in the our technical skills. We are not going to say, tell the company. Our resume only first impression, that is a last impression.
Correct. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It does capture everything that we have ever accomplished in life till now, right? Anything else? Okay, now while, yes,
Yeah.
Lakshmi, you wanted to add, or someone else? Yeah.
It gives overview of the person's personality and
Yeah.
whatever the skills it has or he or she has
Absolutely right. Thank
about
you.
his experience and academics, everything. It includes whole of like 20 years background in piece of paper.
Correct. Absolutely right. I would encourage our friends who are hearing and speech impaired also to switch on their cameras and share with us their feelings, their thoughts about it. Esther here, who is a sign language interpreter, will help us understand what you're trying to communicate, right? Okay, while we are talking about all of this, I think my next question is, what, according to you, is the biggest challenge we face when it comes to writing a resume? Any thoughts?
To elaborate our skills.
To elaborate our skills. We just don't know how to articulate our skills, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
How to prove that our skills are suitable for the job role is the biggest task.
Very good, very good, very well put. Thank you so much for highlighting that point. Yes. Who else? Any other thoughts here? Charu, would you like to share?
Yeah, I'm also second with the young lady which just last spoken. Ke means हमें sometime it happens कि our skills just match and go hand with hand the job description, but we lack means nowadays of AI. So
Correct.
the companies are using AI to sort out the resume. So the
Yeah.
persons who are building their resume without keywords or knowledge of keywords, their resume just went out in spam folder or in dustbin. If it is print out, then तो उसमें फिर क्या होता है कि अब क्योंकि जब सारी चीजें चेंज हो रही हैं तो हमें रिज्यूमे को भी उसके हिसाब से चेंज करना चाहिए.
Thank you so much for pointing that part out, Charu. It is a very, very relevant point. That is why we say we have to move with the times. We have to also, as much as we have to skill ourselves as per what is requirement in the market, we also have to make ourselves marketable and sellable in the market as per requirement, correct? So you're absolutely right there, Charu. I think I will just go to Neha and Sushma here, and I would like to ask Neha. Neha, what were the challenges you faced when you were applying for a job initially and when you were building your resume?
Yes. So, like everyone, mentioned their different reasons कि कई बार समझ में नहीं आता है क्या skills लिखे हैं. जब हम fresher होते हैं तो tension ज़्यादा बढ़ जाती है. What to put in, क्या लिखे, कुछ experience ही नहीं है. So, if I talk about myself, so I was also a fresher, just completed my diploma into elementary education. Did I think 3-4 months of internship in government schools. So I was also a bit nervous. क्या लिखूं? Corporate में जाना है, schooling experience डालूं, नहीं डालूं? What should I do? And the most important and the critical, questions which arises in our mind is, should I mention about my late stage disability? अगर मैंने mention कर दिया, will I get a job or not? So then I was also doing my vocational training, upskilling in National Association for the Blind, Haus Khas, Delhi. There I learned how to build a resume. But that was also a very, you can say, normal format. उसमें ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं था. And I was also कि लिखना चाहिए blindness के बारे में नहीं. So then I just put just one word, blindness. And other than this, I mentioned my, what kind of regional accommodation I would require and what are the skill sets. So, just then I did it like, present in a very, presentable way, skill set ko kaise mention karna hai, so that, everybody understands and focus on my ability instead of my disability.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
challenges are there. Challenges were there.
Okay. So Sushma, would you like to share what were the challenges you faced when you were building your resume before we take everybody through the tool that we have? Yeah.
My biggest challenge, I would say, was whether to mention my disability or not, because the kind of vision impairment I have is not very evident. And by my demeanor, a lot of people would not make out whether I had a disability or not. So writing about it very clearly would mean that I would not get all those many options that I would otherwise get. I would not be shortlisted for a lot of options because it would be a no-no. And not writing about it would mean that I cannot ask for accommodations. How do I ask for accommodations? How do I explain that these are the things I need? तो मैं इस कश्मकश में रहती थी कि क्या लिखूं, कितना लिखूं, लिखूं या नहीं लिखूं, और अगर नहीं लिखूंगी तो इसके बारे में बात कैसे करूंगी.
Thank you. I think this is very, very well articulated by both of you. Now, I want to take this question out there with everybody else. How many of you feel that there is a challenge when you're writing your resume, keeping in mind the fact that you are a person with disability? Yes, I see hands. Yes, Charu, do you want to share?
Yeah, actually, I'm a physically challenged person, orthopedically physically challenged person. So the same challenge I had faced, just like Sushma shared, कि मैं अपनी disability बताऊं या नहीं बताऊं. In fact, when I joined my government job and when I appeared for a government job interview, तो I did a library science diploma that time. तो उस समय इंटरव्यू में मेरे से पूछा कि आपको मतलब आप डिसेबिलिटी है, क्या डिसेबिलिटी है, आपको क्या प्रॉब्लम है. मैंने कहा मैं नीचे नहीं बैठ सकती. तो उन्होंने कहा तो आप लाइब्रेरी का काम कैसे करोगे. मैं कहा उसके लिए मुझे नीचे बैठने की थोड़ी कोई जरूरत है. मुझे नहीं मालूम कि उनको मेरे बात कहने के तरीके पे या किस पर हंसी आ गई, बट फाइनली आई गॉट द जॉब. लेकिन हाँ, उसके बाद जैसे थोड़े टाइम 20 साल बाद जब मैंने VRS ली और उसके बाद दोबारा जब मैंने जॉब ऑप्शंस देखने शुरू करे, तो यही प्रॉब्लम आती थी. अगर मैं डिसेबिलिटी मेंशन करती हूँ तो सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन यही आता है कि हाउ कैन ए फिजिकली डिसेबल पर्सन कैन ए परफॉर्म अ लाइब्रेरियन जॉब. और अगर वो मतलब अगर मैं नहीं मेंशन करती हूँ तो सेम क्वेश्चन कि कल को मैं नहीं कह सकती कि मैं 4th फ्लोर पर नहीं जा सकती, मैं 3rd फ्लोर पर नहीं जा सकती, मैं नहीं कर सकती.
Yes, so true.
तो ये मतलब बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम थी. तो अब मुझे किसी ने बताया कि आप अपने आप को व्हील चेयर बॉर्न कहिए. तो व्हील चेयर बॉर्न पर्सन क्या है कि सामने वाले को पता चल जाएगा कि हालांकि आई एम नॉट ए व्हील चेयर बॉर्न, बट दिस इज अ वेरी सोफिस्टिकेटेड वर्ड टू डिस्क्राइब माय डिसेबिलिटी.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Charu. I'm sure each one of us sitting in the room have experienced it very, very differently, and each one of us will have a challenge. So one part of the challenge is how do we mention our skills? The other part of the challenge is how do we make sure that our disability is articulated such that the other person is able to view us more for what we bring to the table and not based on this disability. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else who would like to share?
Yes, ma'am. Same point that Charu mentioned.
Yeah.
That how we can ask for that
accommodation.
That we are not coming, we are not going here, and we are comfortable at home only. We are not able to walk. That most challenge.
Yes, I completely agree there. Thank you so much for sharing that, Prashant.
Yeah.
Now, if there is any other thought that anyone has here, now I also asked initially, there are 2 people who we found who are already working. Now, I did see Ajinkya Kunjir, who already works, and Charu also works. So would you like to share your thoughts on how did you go about putting your resume and how was it consumed by your company? Ajinkya? Yeah. Charu?
नहीं, मैं आपका क्वेश्चन नहीं समझी.
मेरा सवाल ये है कि आप अभी काम कर रही हैं ना चारू?
आई एम फ्रीलांसिंग.
You are free. अच्छा, you are freelancing. So freelancing becomes a very different ball game altogether.
नहीं, इसमें भी सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज ये है कि देखिए फ्रीलांसिंग कर रहे हैं लेकिन सामने वाले को नहीं पता है कि हम किन सर्कमस्टांसेस में फ्रीलांसिंग कर रहे हैं.
Correct. You are so right.
It may happen कि ठीक है मुझे सुबह प्रोजेक्ट मिला और शाम को मैं हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट हो गई. तो उस केस में मैंने जब से मैंने फ्रीलांसिंग करी तो मैंने सबसे पहला सेंटेंस में यही बोलती थी कि आई एम अ फिजिकली चैलेंज पर्सन और मेरा मेडिकल चैलेंज किसी भी टाइम मेरे को हॉस्पिटल के बेड तक पहुंचा सकता है. दैट्स ए टोटली डिफरेंट स्टोरी कि मैं हॉस्पिटल बेड पर भी मैं काम कर लेती हूँ, लेकिन मैं कर सकती हूँ या नहीं कर सकती हूँ. तो अगर आप इस चीज को एडजस्ट करने के लिए तैयार हैं तब हम आगे बात करें. बाय गॉड ग्रेस मैं आज तक मुझे कोई ऐसा नहीं मिला जिसने मुझे सिर्फ इसलिए टर्न आउट कर दिया कि मैं फिजिकली चैलेंज पर्सन।
Thank you so much for sharing that. So I think on that note, Mansi, do you have a point to make? Your hand is raised.
यस मैम, अगर हम अपने रिज्यूम में वो मेंशन नहीं करेंगे कि डिसेबिलिटी, तो मैम हम सिलेक्ट हो जाएंगे। फिर मैम वो हमसे पूछेंगे कि आप डिसेबिलिटी है कि नहीं है, तो मैम इस चक्कर में हमें डिसेबिलिटी हमेशा मेंशन करनी चाहिए सीवी में।
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
अगर हम कर भी लेते हैं तो मैम सेलेक्ट नहीं हो पाते हम।
Correct. Ajinkya, would you like to share?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
So actually my story is little bit different. Like मुझे जॉब के लिए जरूरत नहीं पड़ी थी अप्लाई करने के लिए. The job came to me in this way, you can say. Because what happened is I am also visually impaired, but a late visually impaired.
Okay.
And due to that reason, I moved from United States to India because it happened all of a sudden.
Okay.
This thing happened in late 2020.
Okay.
And so when I wanted to know that how a visually impaired person works on the laptop, so I had contacted the Pune School of Blind, which is in Pune, and the organization which I'm working right now, that is Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance, they had just tied up with the school 6 months back. So they wanted to hire some candidates. And so I had just forwarded my resume. So my resume was the one which I had prepared in 2019 when I was in United States and applying for the job. And so based on that resume, they gave me the job. So there was no need to mention about the disability or anything because I was not in a, what you can say, I was not even prepared for the job. I was not even knowing how to use NVDA or JAWS. So in this process, when I got hired, I like figured out everything, researched by myself, and along with the work, I'm just pretty much comfortable now. So there was not any such difficulty for getting a job considering visual impairment. But while I was a normal guy, I had faced a lot of challenges.
We
That
all
is completely a
are
different
normal.
story.
Nobody is normal.
Like a normal sighted one, you can say.
No, but thank you so much for sharing this. And you're absolutely right. Sometimes it is just by chance that, you don't necessarily go through the same challenges that perhaps the larger set of other people are. But this is also very relevant. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yes.
I do see Mamta, Sumit, and Lakshmi raising their hands. Mamta, would you like to share?
Hello, ma'am. Good evening. I'm Mamta from Karnataka, presently at Mysore. I'm working with State Health Department for past 17 years. Yes, I didn't had to build a resume at that point of time because it was a direct recruitment. But the problem I faced was regarding all other things except that, because based on my disability, I was selected for the job, but there was no facilities provided. Like it's been 17 years, I'm still not just accommodation, ma'am, like everything. The nature of work, everything was a problem for me. But
Mamta, what is your
things are
disability?
changing.
What is your disability?
I'm polio affected, locomotor disability on both my legs. Yeah. So not regarding the resume, but I had problems in all other lines. But yes, ma'am, now I would really want to know how to build a resume, not just for me, to anybody who would want to learn. And also, if I am coming out of government sector, I would really want to know how I would want to present myself.
Absolutely. And I'm so happy.
Thank you.
You know, it is as we say that, in our life, we have to be extremely inquisitive and constantly learning because you just don't know what tomorrow holds for you. So I'm so happy to have you here, Mamta. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much. Thank you. My pleasure.
Sumit, would you like to share?
Yes. Richa, I want to know, I'm working since 2015 and I had never showed this thing about my disability in my resume. So it is fine to mention this thing.
Okay. While we go through the workshop, we will talk a little more about it. Keep that question with you and I will come back to you because I will talk more both from an employer point of view, and I will equally talk from the point of view of a person with disability. So on that question, it's a most important question for the entire workshop today. We will come back to it. Okay.
Sure.
Lakshmi, yes.
Yes, ma'am. There's a problem. If we mention the disability without seeing the skills, there are chances of getting rejected. I faced that, which is really terrible.
I know it is extremely terrible. So Lakshmi, thank you for highlighting that. And I think before we jump into the workshop, I will just quickly tell you and spend about 2-3 minutes on this. Well, there is a huge amount of transformation that is taking place since the last few years now. There were a lot of organizations who used to only hire candidates with disabilities as a tick mark activity. However, today, they are necessarily trying to hire persons with disabilities, keeping in mind the kind of business impact these people may generate. And to be able to drive that part, there is a necessary skill set mapping that is being observed. They are willing and they are being pushed also to create accommodations and accessibility. If it helps, let me share with you, in the course of last 3 months, I have personally met with nothing less than 25 to 30 new companies one-on-one who have expressed the need and desire and intention to build accommodations and accessibility. So the world is changing, corporates are progressing, but equally as much as PWDs need to upskill themselves to make themselves job ready for the kind of future focused jobs that exist in the market today, even corporates are learning to become accommodative. The corporates are also learning to identify what other disabilities can be hired, which are beyond locomotor disability. And they are also learning to build accessibility along the way. So it is a slow process, but let me assure you, the world is changing, the India incorporation is changing. So that is extremely reassuring. And now let's jump into the workshop. Okay. So I think the first and foremost thing that I would encourage everybody to do is to open the platform, which is at sarathi.com. We had put it in the chat box also. And I realize all of you are registered. Is everybody registered on the platform? Please raise your hands if you're not. Okay, I'm presuming everybody is registered. If you're logged in from the laptop, we would encourage you to also parallelly open this platform so that you can run through it. Okay, now I am going to log in here. Please log into the platform. Now, once you log in here, okay, what we have tried to do is to help you create a profile for yourself. Okay. Any reason why you feel we are asking you to build a profile? Why do you think a profile is important? Okay, let me share with you. The reason why we encourage people to create their profile is because while resume gets shared as a piece of paper with organizations, a profile is something that quickly gives us an understanding of who you are and what kind of person, what kind of background, what kind of skill set, experience you come with. So that is what it is. Now here, for example, if you were to go on edit profile, now this is Neha has created her profile and I have opened her profile here. you have an option of placing your photograph also here. And then the first question we ask is, tell us about yourself. How many of us have faced this question? Tell us about yourself. And how many of us have faced a challenge in addressing this question? What do you feel? Yes, Mansi.
मैम मैंने बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस वो करे हैं, एक्सेप्ट करे हैं अपनी लाइफ में.
Okay, so you will talk about what? How will you positively spin it?
मैम टेल मी अबाउट योरसेल्फ इज बहुत क्वेश्चंस आए हैं. टेल मी अबाउट योरसेल्फ जितनी जगह मैंने इंटरव्यू दी हैं उसमें टेल मी अबाउट योरसेल्फ क्वेश्चन जरूर
आया है ना. तो आपको क्या लगता है कि why is an organization asking you tell me about yourself?
मैम क्योंकि इससे बोलने की क्षमता बढ़ती है.
इसमें बोलने की क्षमता बढ़ती है.
यस.
ओके, बट आपको क्यों लगता है कंपनी क्यों पूछ रही है ये?
मैम क्वालिफिकेशन पूछने की है और हॉबीज पूछने की है और सारी चीजें पूछने के लिए वो करती है. टेल मी अबाउट योरसेल्फ.
Anybody else? Any other thoughts? हाँ जी.
Know about the communication of the candidate.
Yes. What else?
About the personality of candidate who is appearing for interview.
Yes. And we say about the personality of the candidate, about the strength of the candidate.
Yeah. Know about strength and weaknesses of the candidate, how he or she can accommodate the situation.
Okay. Know the candidate briefly. So logically, I'll tell you here, tell us about yourself is primarily trying to cover what is it that you bring to the table. What is in brief, how can an organization get to know your strengths? How can an organization get to know what you have achieved till now? Okay. So for example, here Neha has written, hello, I am Neha. I hail from Gurgaon. I'm a determined individual who found purpose after losing my vision post 12th. Now here, she's not in a space where she's pitying herself. She has given it a positive spin. I am an individual who found purpose after losing my vision post class 12th. Embracing technology, I learned computers and mobility at NAB Delhi. The first thought that comes to people's mind is, if a person is blind, the person will not be able to either do anything with technology or be able to move around. Am I right? Am I right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So what has she done here? She has instead written that while she has written, I have lost my vision. She's saying, I embraced technology. I learned computers. I also learned mobility at NAB Delhi. So she has explained that she lost vision, but she's also told everybody, I learned all of this. So I am absolutely self-reliant, marking a new beginning. I pursued a diploma in elementary education, graduating from Delhi University, proving adversity couldn't deter my spirit. I'm passionate about staying updated. I explore fashion and HR careers on YouTube. What does it mean? अभी तक आपको नेहा के बारे में क्या समझ में आया? Anybody? What have you understood about her? Yes, Prashant.
Yeah.
बता रही हैं.
अपने बारे में बता रही है, लेकिन समझ में क्या आया?
She have learning capacity and she is ready to absorb the learning capacity and she.
प्रशांत आप म्यूट पे चले गए बेटा.
She has ready to learn and new things.
Absolutely. She's ready to accept challenges.
Yes.
She looks at opportunity in adversity, right?
Yes.
And what else? Anyone else? What else have you understood about her? Tell us about yourself till now. Hanji. Who was
Being
saying?
yeah,
Yes.
being a disabled, she didn't lose any hope. Being a positive attitude.
Positive attitude. Also, somewhere she's also mentioning the fact that she learned technology, and then she's saying that I explored fashion and HR careers on YouTube. So it goes on to say two things. She's not just professionally focused, she also likes things in her me time, right? Then she says, with a knack for people, I embarked on a fulfilling career journey. Over 5 years, I have evolved from a telecaller to a team lead and then to a recruiter. My diverse experience encompasses counseling, customer service, and sales. And for the last 3.5 years, I've been a recruiter, managing end-to-end recruitment process for BPO roles, focusing on inclusivity. Actively recruiting individuals with disabilities, my role extends beyond traditional recruitment. I assist clients in hiring PWDs for specialized roles. So what have we understood here? कहीं ना कहीं नेहा ने अपने बारे में सब कुछ बता दिया, अपने करियर का बारे में बता दिया, अपनी डिसेबिलिटी के बारे में बताया, लेकिन डिसेबिलिटी के बारे में किस तरीके से बताया? How did she manage to tell about disability?
उसने डिसेबिलिटी को इस तरीके से बताया कि किसी का ध्यान ही नहीं गया उसकी तरफ.
किसी का ध्यान ही नहीं है उसकी तरफ. Brilliant, absolutely. One is that. The other is that while she spoke about her disability, she also spoke about how she overcame that immediately. Right? Because disability के साथ limitations आती हैं. But उन limitations को overcome करने के लिए जो चीजें आप करते हैं, अगर आप उस पे अपना लोगों का ध्यान बटा देंगे, तो disability पे ध्यान जाएगा ही नहीं.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
इतने सारे प्लस वहां
Yes,
पर
ma'am.
मेंशन है, इतनी सारी चीजें वहां पर लिखी हुई हैं कि जो सबसे पहले उसने अपने आप को डिफाइन किया, वो चीज एकदम नेग्लिजिबल हो गई.
Negligible हो गई. Correct. Any other thoughts, observations? Yes. So Mamta says constantly upgrading her skills is something that stands out. Disability was mentioned but not highlighted. Her strengths were beautifully explained. Absolutely right. Now, this is a very important part. I think the most obvious questions a lot of people ask is, अगर आप fresher हो, तो आप ये कैसे लिखोगे? अब now I want people to answer this question for me. If you are a fresher, how would you do this?
यहाँ पर उसने लिखा है कि 3.5 साल से काम करा है, लेकिन उससे पहले उस 3.5 साल से आने से पहले भी तो उसने बहुत कुछ सीखा है ना. तो हमने जो अब तक सीखा है वो हम मेंशन कर सकते हैं.
One, जो सीखा है और जो हमने एक्सपीरियंस किया है, right? Absolutely. Yes, Lakshmi, do you have a thought?
Yes, ma'am. We can highlight our strengths. How if we are given that job, how we can manage, how we can help in the growth of the company. We can highlight the strengths.
We can highlight our strength. And sometimes when you highlight the strength by giving a relevant example, instead of saying that this is, so one way of putting strength here would have been, I take challenges up front. But the other way she has put it out here is that my disability did not deter me. And I learned technology and did XYZ, right? So that's another way of putting it out. So let the strength be interpreted by people instead of you writing it. Got it? Now here, we further talk about other aspects. We are talking about your date of birth. We're talking about which city do you reside in, languages you speak. Why do you think languages you speak is important? Do you think languages you speak is important?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It is important.
Important.
Yeah. So we must mention about it, right?
Yes.
Education. Your field of education is also very, very important, right? You must enter the details of everything, okay? And also, we mostly capture our education in an Excel format. We don't go details mein, because even during our education, sometimes we've done something beyond that. We've done a few things here and there. So please try and see how you can capture that part also. Now here, what we are doing is, what is your job title? Now, one thing that we, Neha spoke about, and I think what I would like Sushma or Neha to articulate is, why is it important that disability status has to be mentioned? Yeah. So why I would like you to mention is, why is it important to mention your disability status during the job that you last did? Neha, would you like to take that?
Yeah. So we are talking here about first of all the profile updation. So we got to know why it is important, क्या fields necessary है. So you know, tell me about yourself. Why it is important is, अगर आपने एक बार capture कर लिया, आपको अच्छे से लिखना आ गया, अपने आप को tell me about yourself, how to present yourself, एक बार crisp समझ में आ गया, then if you you know again and again write it, you know, उसको better करो, and then when you are appearing for an interview, that is going to help you. Because कई बार क्या होता है, आपसे up from recruiter पूछ लिया, tell me about yourself, आप nervous हो जाते हो, fumble करने लग जाते हो. So if you write it in advance and write it multiple times, it will automatically, you know, you will catch it and आप अच्छा perform करोगे interview पे. अब I just come to the question that why we should mention, or we should mention this or not about our disability. See, while you are doing any job or during the job, or you have, there are stages of disabilities. Some are late, some are early. So I think we should definitely mention about the disability status. Why? Because it will not be, you know, treating us ki ekdam suddenly pata chala hai. First of all, be true to yourself and to the world. And why we are focusing more on the disability factor, we should tell about more about your abilities. Like if I have blindness, but just give the confidence to the other side, you know, recruiter who is sitting, usko confidence do ki yes, I can do it. There will be no, I can assure you that I can travel to office on a daily basis. I travel office on a daily basis. My office is in Gurgaon. ठीक है, so give that confidence कि मेरे को mobility training है. Not to worry, कुछ ऐसा नहीं होगा. So if you are confident for yourself, definitely वो other side person को भी आपके ऊपर confidence आएगा. Number one, it is you know why it is important to mention. Also, this will also give us an idea about your reasonable accommodation की requirements क्या क्या होंगी आपको. Suppose you have speech and hearing disability, so आपको sign language you know की requirement हो सकती है. The colleagues should know sign language, or you would require a sign language interpreter while you are going or appearing for an interview. If you have blindness, then you need some braille line you know, language or braille signage, or you might require digital accessibility. In case of like my case, I don't require braille, but I require digital accessibility. So it depends. So
and also I think coming back to the original question, Neha, why is it important that when we try and capture our work experience for specific job that we have done in the past, whether we were disabled or not disabled, should be captured?
Could I say something here, ma'am?
Yes, Sushma.
Being a recruiter, now when I look at profiles, when a recruiter looks at your profile and sees कि आपने disability के status में भी ये काम किया था या उससे पहले ये काम किया था, it gives him a very clear idea of what you are capable of, what are your strengths. Because particular disability के साथ भी अगर आपने particular role को अच्छे से किया है, that builds the recruiter's confidence.
Absolutely.
And you have experience of that particular area.
And also the other thing is that if suppose you were not disabled while you were doing your first job, but you became disabled when you were doing your second job, the experience you bring even without disability somewhere stays and retains with you. So when a recruiter is trying to identify the right kind of profile, having this knowledge helps them find the relevant job for you. That is why it is important to capture. The other thing is, whatever job you have done in the past, sometimes in resumes, what is observed is you just mention that I have worked as a senior executive in XYZ company. But we do not focus on exactly what was it that you did in that job. Why do you think it is important to focus on what you did in that job? Anybody here? Would you like to share, anyone? Why do you think we need to focus on what the job description was?
To matches the skill of the candidate
To
of
match
the current job.
Of the current job, as well as sometimes it is an identical job for which perhaps the job role is being out for. It just allows to map it perfectly. And somebody spoke about digital intervention, that nowadays the resumes are being shortlisted and sorted through using digital automation. It will help it better if you articulate and use those keywords in a better format. And that's what we are talking about here. Okay. Now, you mentioned additional skills. Skills are extremely important again. Also, can I please know how many of you have a LinkedIn profile?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Can I please see by a raise of hand how many of you have a LinkedIn profile? There are 36 participants here, barring few who are from Sarathi. I want to really see how many of you have a LinkedIn profile. People who don't have a LinkedIn profile, I highly recommend to you. Go to LinkedIn today itself and create a profile for yourself. Even if you are not working, it is perfectly fine. It is extremely important to be available, to be visible on a platform that is only been built for professional networking. It doesn't matter. In my company, I have made it a mandate for all our people to have a LinkedIn profile. It is important. You find it a challenge, reach out to us and we will help you set up a LinkedIn profile. But it is important to have one, right? Now, after you have placed your LinkedIn profile, why do you think we need to paste our LinkedIn profile here? Just
मैम जैसे कि जॉब मिल सके, हमें अच्छी जॉब मिल सके.
वो तो है, but उससे क्या होगा? चारू, any thoughts?
मैम जॉब.
Yes, Charu.
It's a ready-made resume. Means it's a give a absolute and a correct picture of yourself.
What else?
Because LinkedIn पे हम
Charu, you're on mute. हाँ जी.
हाँ, लिंक्डइन पर वही नहीं कि हमने सिर्फ अपना प्रोफाइल बना लिया. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है हमने किसी पोस्ट पर किसी तरह की मूवमेंट करी है, किसी को लाइक किया है, किसी को कमेंट किया है, तो वो जो चीजें हैं वो छोटी छोटी चीजें हमारी एक्टिविटी में शो होती हैं और वहां से हमारी इनर पिक्चर निकल कर आती है.
Absolutely bang on. LinkedIn is not just about a replication of our profile. LinkedIn के अंदर जो हम एक्टिविटीज करते हैं, हमने कभी कोई पोस्ट क्रिएट किया, किसी चीज को लाइक किया, किसी को कमेंट किया, उसकी एक्टिविटी को भी कंपनीज एनालाइज करती हैं, स्क्रूटनाइज करती हैं, जिससे कि किसी भी कैंडिडेट की प्रोफाइल का डिटेल में अंदाजा होता है. So LinkedIn is not just about creating your profile, it's also about the activity you do. Okay? Now, in this profile page, we are...
One more thing I want to... Yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Means I love to write poems also. I love to design graphics in Canva also. So whenever I do these types of posts, means if I write a poem, जो मैं कैनवा में खुद डिजाइन करती हूँ, तो वो भी मैं लिंक्डइन पर शेयर करती हूँ. दैट इज टोटली डिफरेंट फ्रॉम माय करंट प्रोफाइल.
करेक्ट एब्सोल्युटली.
यहाँ तो अगर मैं वहां पर लिखती हूँ कि मेरे को कैनवा डिजाइनिंग अच्छी लगती है या आई एम अ क्रिएटिव राइटर, तो क्रिएटिव राइटर इतना मैटर नहीं करता जितनी मेरी बनाई हुई क्रिएटिव पोस्ट मैटर करती है.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
I would like to add a small bit here. That is, a LinkedIn network also automatically talks about our community. हम कितने लोगों से जुड़े हैं, हमारे नेटवर्क में कौन कौन है. पुराने टाइम में जब हम लोग CV देते थे तो हमसे रेफरेंस मांगा जाता था. In this case, you don't have to provide a reference. आपका सारा रेफरेंस वहीं दिख जाता है, आपकी एंडोर्समेंट्स दिख जाती हैं, किन किन लोगों ने आपकी तारीफ की है, आप कहाँ एक्नॉलेज हुए हो, सारी कहानी दिख जाती है. Therefore, you do not need to do anything extra.
Correct. Absolutely. Thank you so much for adding that, Sushma. Now coming to our resume. Now, one part is you can upload your resume, which is already ready with you. The other is you can actually build a resume. Now here, we have created a resume building tool, which is specially been created only for persons with disabilities. Now here, because it is Neha's profile, she has already keyed in some information. Now, this is the first question that we ask. What is the reasonable accommodation as per your disability? And we have mentioned multiple things here. Now, Neha does not need braille signage as a reasonable accommodation because she's a limb vision impaired. So she has written digital.
You have Google Chrome.
Yeah.
Toolbar, address and search bar. Complete control plus.
When you move further, you see all the details that are mentioned. You mention your disability type, you mention your address, you mention everything, and then you move to the work history. Now, what we have done is, if you are in a position to complete your profile, everything that you have written in your profile will get automatically translated here. It will get picked up here. So you don't have to write it all over again. When we come to the work history, you can write whatever here. Then you move to education. You can write whatever you have done. And then you come to the technical skills. Now, technical skills can be anything. It can be pertaining to your computer, your interview skills, your data analysis, how have you been on social media, general skills. How do you find yourself generally? Now, a lot of people, in fact, right now in the chat window also, I was being asked the question that Vishnu was asking me this question, that if I don't have an experience, what should I do? Do we have any answers to that question here? Neha, would you like to answer this?
Yes, of course. If you are not having any experience, being a fresher, I understand you become a bit nervous, but there's no need to worry too much. You can first you can mention about your past internship experience or project. If not, then there is another solution is you have upskilled yourself. If I talk about myself, I was also not aware what to do after getting blind. But there are vocational trainings, there are upskilling courses which are easily available online nowadays for and you can upskill yourself, and you can just mention, like in case of blindness, I can just mention I have done my mobility training, I have done my basic computers, I know Outlook, I know MS Office, I know data analytical skills. So and when it comes to the skill set, so somebody was mentioning here कि हमें वो keywords जब recruiter search करता है resume में, तो वो आप skills में mention करो. If somebody, when a recruiter is looking for a MIS profile, so I also used to data resume में कहाँ है data analytical skills. If you have mentioned data analytical skills, MIS skills या कुछ भी ऐसा, definitely your resume recruiter आपका सबसे पहले देखेगा. आपके chances ज़्यादा बढ़ जाते हैं that you will get a call for the interview call. So yeah.
Sushma, do you want to add something?
It is very useful to put in all your technical and non-technical strengths. Technical skills may any certifications, any specializations, when you put it as it is always very easy for recruiters to reach you out. When it comes to non-technical skills, it would be useful to put in communication, interpersonal skills, and everything that you're good at, which talks about your complete persona in a way.
However, I would just like to add a caveat. Don't write things that you are not confident about, right? For example, if you think that you are not great at English communication, don't mention it. But if you feel you are a great negotiator, please mention it. If you feel that you are great at written communication but not great at one-to-one conversation, mention that in as many details. Nobody will stop you. Okay, do that. Secondly, when we talk about experience, and if there has been a gap, a lot of people have gap years. And I still remember when I used to interview people for jobs at Sarathy, and each time I would see a gap between their education and the time they have come for the job. My first and the only question used to be, what did you do in between? Because there is no stopping to upskilling yourself. You can continue to upskill yourself. There are so many platforms. Now, Sarathy also offers a lot of upskilling, but otherwise, especially for people who do not have vision impairment, I deeply and highly recommend continuously upskill yourself. The more certifications you will have, the better your chances will be to find a job suitable to you. So do not stop doing anything. Even if it, like Charu mentioned, and I'm so highly impressed with it, Charu mentioned that when she did not find anything, she started freelancing. Freelancing is extremely important as well, because while you are freelancing in whatever capacity, it will be counted as an experience because you have worked with clients. Clients were there. They've given you a project. You've done something. Nobody is going to ask you as a freelancer, how much did you earn? What they are interested in is, what did you work? How did you communicate with the client? What kind of client work have you done? It is adding to your portfolio. It is adding to the strength of the work that you have created. Vishnu is again asking, can graduation project mention an experience section or separate section as project? You can mention it separately or as an experience, because sometimes the graduation projects are also for a period of time. Yeah. Right? So you can mention it there also. At the end of the day, the company which is evaluating you is not evaluating you on the basis of specifics, but on the basis of experience gained and the specific skills you are bringing. So please be very, very particular about adding as much as possible. Any questions till now? Okay, I'll go forward. Now here, what are your career goals? Now, what usually happens is, if you have created your profile summary, it will naturally come in here in the career goals in most situations. But if you want to edit it, please feel free to edit this out. The objective is that an organization, please understand, they are mostly evaluating candidates on 3 grounds. Only 3 grounds. 1, experience. 2, skills. And the 3rd is only and only your aptitude and attitude. So on everything, when a person is looking at the resume, and then when the person is being interviewed, and finally when the person is coming on board, they look at the consistency of only few things. Okay, your attitude. In your career goals, if you mention about the fact that I am very career focused, I want to grow to this level, I am looking at growing at this pace. If that does not translate the same way in the interview, you will call it as a bluff. So again, be very, very particular. What you write should be absolute fact. Don't bluff. And even if it means that you have to sit back and think about it, who you are, what do you want, do that. But make sure that there is consistency. And as I mentioned, skill, experience, and attitude is what you get selected on basis, right? You can add certification. Now, certifications are over and above. You can get certified 6 Sigma. You have a certification. Please mention 6 Sigma, because some of the certifications are well-known certifications. The ones which are well-known certifications, they will come with a certificate ID. You mention that. But if there is no certificate, if the certification that has been given to you is not with an ID, it's perfectly fine. Don't mention it. And you can add as many certifications as possible. It just helps. And as I mentioned, mention languages. Very, very important. So what we've tried to do here in the profile as well as in your resume is to capture your disability, to capture what kind of accommodations are you looking for while you will work, to be able to create as many opportunities for you to showcase your skills, your certifications, your experience. And experience, I will repeat, is not necessarily work experience. It can be anything, right? And then you are ready to download your file. Once you download, now this is how it looks like. Neha Yadav, the details come in here, the technical skills she has, the general skills she has, the accessibility she needs is upfront mentioned, languages she knows. And on the right is her profile, her experience, her overall education, the kind of certifications she has, and so on and so forth. You can download this file, it gets saved with you, and you can then use it wherever you want to. If this resume is already done for you in the system, each time you apply for a job within Sarathy, it will pick up the resume from there until and unless you have made a change. Vishnu says, I had 1 year career gap after graduation due to health issue. Does this need to be mentioned on the resume? If needed, where will it be mentioned? So Vishnu, my question to you is, after this 1 year gap, did you start doing something? Vishnu, can you unmute and talk? Otherwise, you can even send me a note. You're still searching for a job. It is perfectly fine. You can that's perfectly fine. All you have to do is that currently, so for example, you completed your graduation in 2022. Then since then, what have you been doing? You may want to mention that, right, Neha, Sushma?
Yeah, you can mention about your upskilling, your courses, you know, any projects you have done. So yeah, and in the while you are describing your experience, just mention it in a chronological order. So starting from the present, currently I am, and then your past in a chronological order.
Any other questions? Where to mention the gap? You don't need to mention the gap at all, because if you are currently still looking for a job, you don't need to mention the gap. It may come up as a question while you submit your resume and while you are being interviewed. At that time, you handle it.
This would be a part of leaving some gaps. I mean, we make a very complete resume is a very good idea, but leave some curiosity for your interviewer to ask you certain questions.
And go prepared.
Yeah. And also, as I mentioned, it's important to maintain consistency between your resume, your interview, and finally what you start to deliver on the job. That is very, very important. And this is how, so for example, I'll just take you through, this is one of the jobs that is posted on the platform right now, which is for an associate business analyst. Okay. Now here, the job description is given, essential job function. Now, what we have also tried to do with the corporates is that we have tried to break the entire job down into specific functions. Why this is important is so that a person with different disability can look at the job function and see whether this job is suitable to me or not before they apply for the job. Okay. Now, if a particular job role requires vision, and you know for a fact that it needs some viewing of the images, you will not apply for that job. And that is why the understanding is that describe the job function in as many details. Now here they have mentioned, we need a postgraduate. What are the nice to have things? Work experience, a person who may have an MBA in finance. Now again, somebody, when I asked initially, you said that we first look at what kind of a job is, does the skill meet with us or not? Please always understand, there is a difference between must have and nice to have. Nice to have is something which is brilliant. But if you don't have those nice to have, but you have the must have, you should still apply for the job. Don't shy away from applying for the job because you don't have the remaining. Okay.
Ma'am,
yeah.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, please.
I didn't have degree, but my 14th, after 14, I didn't some problem, so I not did my job. So on what basis I apply for 12?
You have not completed your graduation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you will apply for a job based on class 12 only.
Yeah. Okay.
That's perfectly fine.
Because in job description they are asking degree, so that's why I ask you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
There are various job options for customer service, for some jobs are there which only requires higher secondary. So you can apply for those particular job roles.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Any other question?
Ma'am, from whom to ask the LinkedIn profile to do, because my LinkedIn account is there, but my profile is not updated properly.
So maybe we can do another workshop only on LinkedIn profile updation. Okay?
Yes. Okay, ma'am.
We will do that. Anything else? Any other questions that we can help you out with, or any personal engagement with which we can help you out? Yes, Charu.
आपने वर्कशॉप के शुरू में कहा था कि बहुत सारी कॉर्पोरेट्स जो है वो भी मतलब पीडब्ल्यूडीज को हायर करने की फील्ड में आ गए हैं और वो विलिंगली करते हैं.
करेक्ट.
बट आई हैव बिटर एक्सपीरियंस, सो कैन आई शेयर माय फ्रैंक ओपिनियन हियर?
यस प्लीज.
एक्चुअली जहाँ तक मेरे को एक्सपीरियंस हुआ है वो ये है कि अभी भी ये सिर्फ पेपर वर्क ही है कि मतलब जिससे वो ये दिखा सके कि दे एडवर्टाइज द पोस्ट फॉर पीडब्ल्यूडीज, appeared so many candidates for that particular post, but they didn't find any suitable, so they didn't have, and for that they can continue 2 to 3 rounds, but the reality is far from the fact.
Okay,
so पहले मैंने एक इसी तरह का एक इंटरव्यू अटेम्प्ट किया था और उस इंटरव्यू मतलब वो जो जॉब प्रोफाइल था वो मेरे को सूट करता था, हर तरह से सूट करता था. कंपनी को मैं सूट करती थी, मुझे जॉब प्रोफाइल सूट करता था, लेकिन उसमें हिच क्या था कि वहां पर जो कि उन्होंने उसमें एडवर्टाइजमेंट में कहीं नहीं लिखा था कि आपको 8 से 10 घंटे लगातार कंटिन्यूअसली बैठ के काम करना होगा. तो जब मेरे सामने ये बात आई तो ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स ऑफ इंटरव्यू आई आस्क्ड द पर्सन कि आपको लगता है कि चलो मैं तो एक फिजिकली चैलेंज पर्सन हूँ, एक नॉर्मल पर्सन 10 घंटे अपनी आंखों को लैपटॉप स्क्रीन पे ग्लू करके बैठ सकता है? ग्लू मीन्स आपको इधर ऐसे भी नहीं हिलाना है. तो क्या मतलब पॉसिबल है? क्या नहीं लगता आपको कि ये तो डॉक्टर्स भी कहते हैं कि आपको 40 to 45 मिनट्स बाद 10 मिनट का ब्रेक चाहिए. तो दो उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं, हाँ आप ठीक कह रहे हो, लेकिन लेटर ऑन दे रिजेक्टेड माय कैंडिडेचर जस्ट बिकॉज आई ओपनड अप. मैंने कहा कि भाई मैं नहीं बैठ सकती, और जब आप एक फिजिकली चैलेंज पर्सन का इंटरव्यू ले रहे हो देन हाउ कैन यू एक्सपेक्ट दैट पर्सन के मींस वो आपसे रात में भी काम करेगा आपके पास बैठ के. तो ये जो हिडन एजेंडा है ये कहाँ मार्क होते हैं?
Charu, I'll tell you very honestly, there are all kinds. And as I mentioned, चीजें बदल रही हैं, धीरे बदल रही हैं, लेकिन बदल जरूर रही हैं. Sometimes if you look at things very very closely, हमें लगता है कुछ बदलाव नहीं आ रहा, लेकिन जब हम थोड़ा अपने आप को बाहर निकाल के देखते हैं, then we see that there is a change. Like first, the conversation of diversity and inclusion was confined to women inclusion. Then we started talking about overall gender inclusion. And now disability inclusion has become fairly prominent. But yes, you may be right. There are organizations who are still doing a lot of lip service to it. But there are equally very committed organizations who are working in this space. So you had a bad experience. but there are organizations who are definitely doing some good work on it as well. And we have to be hopeful. That's the only thing we can be, right?
नहीं, of course I do agree with you, लेकिन मतलब ये थोड़ा सा ना ये जर्क लगता है और इस तरह की चीजें बाई मतलब एक तरीके से कहते हैं ना कि दिल को
Demotivate कर
छूती
देती
नहीं है, दिल को, हाँ, दिल को चोट पहुंचाती है।
बिल्कुल।
छूने वाली बात तो ये है ही नहीं कि आपको पता है कि
I
आप मतलब एक ऐसे पर्सन से बात कर रहे हो, उसके बावजूद आप उससे वो एक्सपेक्ट करो जो एक नॉर्मल पर्सन भी नहीं कर सकता है, और इसी बेस पर आप उनका कैंडिडेचर रिजेक्ट कर दो, तो ये मतलब ये डबल स्टैंडर्ड नहीं है तो और क्या है।
I agree. I completely agree. I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yes, Mamta, you were saying something?
Yes, I totally agree with you that things are changing. Previously, where I worked, I had seen like accessibility was a very tough thing. And presently, with the organization where I am working, just for one person, previously who was here in this working place, he met with an accident and had a spinal cord injury, and the entire institute was made accessible for him.
Wow.
So things are changing. People are being aware, and we also need to be more open for it.
That's a real positive story.
Yeah. So as I say, it is extremely important to look out for those positive stories because that gives us hope, and that is what keeps us all going. So would anybody else like to share anything here?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can I get the recording of this session because I missed the initial part due to bad network?
No problem. We will be making this recording available to everybody on our YouTube channel as well as otherwise share it on the link as well. I would also like to urge all of you to continuously be on a lookout for applying on various kinds of jobs. We are constantly working with corporates and there are enough and more jobs available on the platform. Today, if I look at it, there are close to 30 plus jobs which have been posted on the platform. And apart from that, I would encourage you to go through our complete employability program as well. We continue to do a lot of workshops as well. Will there be a WhatsApp group where we can clear our doubts? I think that's a very good idea. We will try and create a WhatsApp group so that you can raise your doubts there. However, having said that, what we can do is that we can leave behind a mail ID for you and you can write to us. So I'll just write neha@saarathi.com, as well as I will send you Sushma at. Please feel free to write to both of these mail IDs and we'll be happy to help you on this. Yes. Kunjar, would you like to add something?
Yeah, Richa.
Yeah.
So, talking about the jobs, like which you mentioned, there are various jobs mentioned on the website.
Yeah.
But what happens is not everyone goes on the website daily to check the job notifications, right?
Correct.
So I can understand that the jobs are posted on LinkedIn as well. But
Correct.
to be honest, as we even saw in this webinar, that only 4 to 5 guys are on LinkedIn and not many of them are using it.
Yeah.
So I think one thing can be done here, that we can create a WhatsApp community where only the Saarathi members can post the job and even the workshop which are there, because on there's a group, but regarding that, the registration link came day before yesterday, and I had already seen it on LinkedIn like a week back, and I had registered from there. So if we can reach out to all these via WhatsApp, then definitely it will benefit more of the PWDs.
Correct. I completely agree. So what we are trying.
हाँ,
Yeah,
बिल्कुल ठीक है, क्योंकि उसमें क्या है ना कि हमें इंस्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशन मिल
Exactly,
जाएगी।
right.
हाँ,
बिल्कुल हम बना देंगे, सारथी का एक WhatsApp ग्रुप हम बना देंगे, and we will use it more like a broadcast for information that we will have. We will put out our job applications, and also you will be in a better position to share it further in your community.
Perfect. And one more thing, can you, if it is possible, can you try to add the high contrast mode, like the dark mode on the website?
In fact, it is already there on the top right corner. There is an icon. You can choose that and add that. You can increase the contrast from there.
Yes, it is there. It is definitely
website
there.
is
You just have
fully
to open the
accessible.
menu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I might have missed it. I will again go through it.
And if you still face a challenge, please let us know. We are still in the process of building it further up, and we are taking feedback from people.
Sure, sure. All right. Thank you.
So we encourage all of you to build your resume and download it and keep it with yourself, so that whenever a suitable job comes, you can directly apply. And we will come to you.
Absolutely. And if we don't have any more thoughts, any more questions, thank you so very much. It has been lovely interacting with everybody. Sumit, do you have something to say? Your hand is raised.
Yeah, as you talk about
Sumit, you're not audible.
Yeah, as you talk about many jobs are available on the platform, but I see only the customer service related profiles over there, not for the experience on, like I'm a data analyst and I don't.
There is a data analyst job right now, Neha, which is the data. There is a data analyst you're looking for, right?
Yeah, I'm looking for ITC Foods.
So she's looking for a data analyst for ITC Foods. So maybe you can get in touch with Neha and she'll be happy to take that conversation forward with you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yes. Anything else?
Yes, ma'am. I have a small doubt.
Yes, Pratik.
Like, ma'am, sometime if we have a experience, like we when we build our resume, so we get too confused, like what to write and how to write. So can we contact someone if in case we will have any doubt?
Absolutely. But do me a favor, Pratik. While you first use the resume building tool, okay? The objective
Yes,
of
ma'am.
the entire profile page and the tool is the questions have been crafted in such a manner so that it's easier to key in those responses, which will help you create a good resume. If you still feel doubtful, please feel free to reach out to us. I have already mentioned 2 email IDs there. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I wanted to add on to one thing.
Yeah.
Somebody from the participants had asked about the LinkedIn this thing, maintaining a LinkedIn profile.
Correct.
So I wanted to tell them that if you head to our YouTube page, in our last workshop, most of that was answered, and Sandeep sir had explained to the participants how to upscale their LinkedIn and maintain a profile. So you can head to our YouTube and you can also check out other recordings as well.
Thank you so much, Navya. This has been very, very helpful. Navya is absolutely right. In the last 6 months, we've done a lot of workshops, and all the workshops, the recording is available on our YouTube page. Navya, can you just paste the YouTube channel here so that we can, yeah? Let's just see what we can do further from there. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes. Hi, Shubham. Tell me.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, is there any courses for marketing professionals?
So what we are doing right now is, Shubham, right now we have built the entire employability module, which includes self-presentation, interview skills, resume building, of course, communication, and basics of BPO and KPO. Now we are moving into HR recruitment courses, and we are going to be building a digital marketing course. Okay. But if you were to ask me, is there a course only on marketing? We don't have it right now. And also marketing, you tell me what kind of a content are you looking for? Maybe we can look at building the next round of course around it.
Means, ma'am, nowadays digital marketing will be
We are
helpful for
building.
us.
We are working on the digital marketing training program. We are.
Yes, ma'am. And I think, ma'am, that course should be built around by considering the visual impairment which I have.
So in fact,
Yeah,
all our
so
courses are accessible, Shubham. You should go on our platform. All our courses have been built keeping in mind persons with vision impairment. Also, because at Sarathi, 70% of our people are persons with vision impairment. So we have built the courses keeping that in mind.
And especially for the freshers, I would insist each one of you to join and do our employability training course, which will help you, which will help you in getting better knowledge and understanding about the corporate culture.
Absolutely.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, Charu. Charu, you're on mute.
आपने कहा डिजिटल मार्केटिंग पे आप कोर्स डिजाइन कर रहे हो, but digital marketing is a very vast area.
Very vast. So we will only be covering the basics here, Charu, because we will not be able to cover the whole expanse of it. Like, for example, a lot of people come to us saying that we would love to understand something around ChatGPT. How does it work? Now, those are very important skills to have. Even to use a ChatGPT requires some level of basic understanding. Digital marketing is a very expansive subject. You can either do a 2-day workshop or you can create a 10-module training program. So it will only be able to give a basic exposure. Beyond that, it won't be able to help too much.
इसमें अगर मैं आपको सजेस्ट करूं, इसमें जो बेसिक चीज है और सबसे ज्यादा मतलब एम्प्लॉयमेंट के हिसाब से सबसे ज्यादा यूजफुल भी है, दैट इज एसईओ शिप, एसईओ मार्केटिंग या एसईओ राइटिंग. एसईओ राइटिंग भी मतलब बहुत लोगों को नहीं पता है.
करेक्ट.
तो इंस्टेड टू कवर बेसिक ऑफ 10 थिंग्स.
चारू, आप करती हैं ये सब?
थोड़ा बहुत.
आप अपना नंबर डालिए चैट में. वी विल कनेक्ट विद यू. लेट्स सी व्हाट वी कैन वर्क टुगेदर ऑन.
क्योंकि मैंने कहा ना, मैंने जैसे फ्रीलांसिंग जब शुरू करी तो 6 महीने मैंने इन्हीं 2 चीजों पर करा था, एसईओ पर और राइटिंग. तो राइटिंग के लिए तो मुझे कुछ करना नहीं पड़ा क्योंकि ये तो मेरा पैशन था, ये ऑटोमेटिकली आ गया.
Let's connect and we will figure out something together. Yeah?
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we've overshot our time. Yes, somebody still wanted to say something. Yes, Vinod.
I am also doing, ma'am, this SEO marketing. But yeah, I know.
Okay. Navya, can you please take down Charu's number? She's put it on the chat board. Vinod, why don't you drop us your number as well? And I will get that kind of, we will connect with you. Yes, Kunjal?
Yeah, just to add one thing.
Yeah.
Like, sorry if I'm talking too much.
No.
Yeah.
I'm happy
so
everybody is talking.
I would really like to appreciate the Sarathi team because of the one fact that in the job description, you guys are mentioning the type of disability which the job requires, because in most of the portals, this is not mentioned. And what happens is a lot of time is wasted of the applicant, like who is applying. Sometimes he does apply, he does go for the interview, and like few people over here mentioned, like Charu also mentioned, that when you actually go for the interview, then they realize that you have some disability. So it's a wastage of both the applicant as well as the recruiter's time.
I completely agree.
Regarding this thing, I had written a post on LinkedIn as well to make LinkedIn more user friendly. And I think at least someone had like taken action on it on their own portal. Not LinkedIn, but at least on Sarathi. so I'm happy for it.
Thank you so much. And we need more and more advocates of this. So I'm so happy. Okay, so somebody is saying content workshop.
And regarding ChatGPT as well, if anyone needs any information, so I can tell that like in my current organization, we are leveraging ChatGPT for implementing various business use cases. So if anyone needs help regarding that, then I can like give them some technical or some knowledge regarding how the ChatGPT exactly works and what it is.
So you know what we are trying to do now is while we bring in our subject matter knowledge and expertise in conducting these workshops, if you think you can conduct a workshop, we'd be happy to bring you on.
Definitely, we can try. I can try, but like conducting a workshop will be a bit tough. But yeah, if you guys need any help regarding the generative AI or like broadly regarding generative or specific to ChatGPT, then I can throw my inputs.
Probably it could be a closed room workshop, if not
that's what I'm
it
saying.
could be in
We
a
have a
small group.
Yeah, let's work this out. I think this is a brilliant idea. Will you write to us, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm putting my mail ID as well here. If somebody wants to reach out, please feel free to reach out to me. Okay.
Yeah, I can drop you an email or any which we are connected on LinkedIn as well. So we can connect over there also.
Sounds good. Okay. I think we have overshot a bit too much, but thank you so much. This has been brilliant. And please, Navya has put out a form. Please fill up the feedback form. Let us know how you feel about this workshop and what you would like to go through in the future. We are here to only guide and help you. Let us know how more can we support you on this. Yeah. We will also be sending the link for the form on the WhatsApp group, and we will soon be putting out a community. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining
Thank
in.
you. It's
And
really
please
very
share your
encouraging.
feedback.
Yeah. Very
Thank
encouraging
you.
workshop.
Thank you,
And
ma'am.
it was not a workshop. It was just a very cordial conversation in between so much friends who are sitting there with their comfortable as I am sitting on my bed. And I'm conversing with so many friends, like-minded friends, and supportive. Thank you so much for
Wonderful
Sarth.
interaction.
Lovely to know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.